Hello, everyone. Welcome in the discussion of the film 40 Years and One Night, the Saudi film. We have some of the film cast and crew. The film is directed by Mohamed Halil. I hope I'm pronouncing the names right. And the story by Abdulrahman Khawj. Yes, and Mohamed Al-Halil also, script by Bashayer Abdulaziz and Abdulrahman Khawj. And we have also Sahbi Kraiem, the supervisor over the post-production stage, and also the composer Ghiya Rushidat. All good?
Yeah, all good.
Okay, thank you. For the people who are watching us now, there is a Q&A button under the screen. If you have any questions, please type your question in the Q&A, and at some point in our discussion, I will look for the Q&A question, and I will pass it to the teamwork of the film. So hello everyone, I'm so happy to have you here today and to moderate this discussion about this film. I watched the film and I enjoyed watching it. Actually, I met Abdulrahman 2 years ago in Rotterdam Film Festival, and he was pitching the film, and I was so into the film actually. And when I saw it yesterday, I felt like it was surprising to me that the film that we were discussing 2 years ago now is complete and now on the screens, and also I will be the moderator of the film. So it was a great coincidence actually. Let's start from the beginning, from the idea of the film. So my question will be for Abdulrahman and Bashayer. How did it start at the first place? How did you get the idea? How did you work on the idea, and how did you work with the director about this idea?
Sure. We started. I first wrote the story, the initial idea and the concept in 2014. I wrote a first draft, which was kind of short, but also very just dialogue of the siblings talking, and then started thinking about the story, about the characters and each member of the family, thinking about the story, the background of the characters, of the subject matter as well. And I spent about 2 years developing the story by myself, and I wrote a few drafts. And then it was becoming clear that this is a very complicated story, and it would be important and even more fun to have someone to write with and kind of have two brains instead of one, because it has 5 main characters, which is very challenging. And I was afraid of the film, everyone sounding the same. And so this is where I talked to Bashayer. I really liked her writing. She brings a really critical eye to film structure. And this film was out of my comfort zone as a writer. And so she added a lot of security to the team. And so we started writing together. And Mohamed eventually joined us after we did 3 or 4 more drafts together. And then Mohamed joined us. And he started giving us feedback as a director. When I met him and I really liked his work, we were becoming good friends. I pitched him the story, he really loved it, and then he joined the team. And then we continue writing with his involvement as a director to kind of take the story to the visual stage, which is what it will eventually become. Yani.
Okay, I have another question regarding the idea. As it was your idea at the first place, actually, from where did you get the idea? Is it based on a true story or a true event or a true accident that you read about, or what did actually, or from where did you get the idea?
Sure. The idea is not, it's been on film before, many places. The original concept of the film came from my family, because I have 8 siblings or 7 siblings, I'm the 8th, and we are so different. And so I wanted to, and as I was growing older and realizing that you can be growing up in the same place, but have completely different perspective of the world and maybe value system even. And so that I was fascinated by a family political drama, kind of like House of Cards, but within a family. And so that's where the concept came from. And then the story came from some true events that I've witnessed, and when discussing the idea with multiple people from the cast, from the crew. The second marriage is something that's very common in the Middle East and the Islamic world. So that was, I thought that would be a really good backdrop to instigate the rest of the story. So the film is not about that, but it's a great thing that people really fight over. And I've seen it in different families that I know. A lot of my friends, their parents went through the same thing. So it's a very common thing. So people will not doubt it, or will not. It's not hard to suspend your belief when you see a story like this.
Let's move to Bashayer, and also I wanted to ask you the same question. When did you actually read the first draft that Abdulrahman wrote? How did you get engaged to the story? What was actually your essential input? What did you feel that you want to add to this story, and what encouraged you to be like, I want to be part of this film, I want to tell something in this story?
Okay, so first of all, thank you for having us. It's a great pleasure. As Abdulrahman said, he approached me around 2016. But by that time, he already wrote 2 drafts. So there's a good solid thing to work on when I started working on the film. Actually, at that time, there were 8 main characters, not 5 characters, and so many changes have been happening throughout the draft that we have written that I almost forgot how we started and how we got there eventually. But it worked amazingly. I love the film and how it came at the ending. I remember the first thing that I noticed when reading the drafts Abdulrahman gave me, it was working on the structure. We had to have a structure, a good structure for the film, especially that it's almost all dialogue driven. So our first initial step was, let's have a good structure for the film that we don't lose the interest of the audience. And that's what we worked on for 2 drafts. And then we started realizing that maybe this character is not really useful for the story. Let's cut down some of the characters. Let's add a little bit more events, so it's more interesting. And that's when Mohamed Al-Hilayl joined in and starting bringing so much to the script as a director. So yeah, there was a lot to work on actually, and it was a great journey that I very much love.
Okay, let's move to Sahbi Kraiem. I just want to ask you about the financing and the production process. I know you were the supervisor of the post-production stage of the film, but you may talk to us if you have a little idea about that, the financing journey of the film, and how long did it take to secure the financing and to work on secure the financing and the budget of the film?
Yes, thank you so much for this question and for invitation. I'm so sorry, my English is bad, but I'm gonna try to explain. First of all, you know, about this.
If you feel you want to talk in Arabic, feel free to talk in Arabic, and there will be Arabic subtitles or interpretations after that.
Okay, nice. Maybe if there is a problem with English, I'm gonna use an Arabic word. You know, about the financial thing. المهم في هذا الشيء كونه عبد الرحمن والفريق السعودي قبل ما ندخل في المشروع كانوا يسووا شغل كبير جدا. يعني كان المهمة الصعبة ووجود الفينانسيال الكبير كان هذا الشيء كان مضبوط يعني. وبعد السوليداريتي تاع الفريق، وكان الكل متفاهمين كونه كان الفيلم كان عنده بجت معين، فالسوليداريتي تاع الفريق كان مهم كثير كونه نسوي هذا الفيلم. علما كونه الفريق متكون من جنسيات متعددة، كان كو برودكشن يعني بين تونس السعودية وبلجيكا، فكان انترناشونال سوليداريتي في هذا الفيلم. وحقيقة يعني كان شغل رائع. كان جزء من العمل كان اونلاين قبل حتى الكورونا فهذا كان سبيشال شوي. ف يعني اهم شيء كونه كان في سوليداريتي وتفهم في موضوع البادجت، وكان شغل رائع بين تونس بلجيكا والسعودية.
Okay, great. So it was like an international journey for the financing.
Yeah. It was a mix of collaboration and there is, you know, it's like an adventure, you know. And if كل هذه البلدان تحط طاقاتها مع بعض دايما يكون النتيجة موجودة يعني.
Yeah, let me ask you about the music of the film. When you when you get attached to the project, did you like was you with the whole teamwork from the beginning, and did you make the music based on the script, or did you watch the final copy of the film and then you started to work? Tell us a little bit more about the process of composing the music of such a film, and if you had any references before and you like when you see the film or when you first read the draft of the script, you felt like you are going somewhere, some special to some special place for that film, that you felt like the music is here?
First of all, thank you again for having us, and it's great to see all of you, and it's like a reunion. So I joined the film in November, which is basically when the script was about to be shot. And we had a lot of conversations, me and Mohamed, on the phone, and we would be like describing the characters and talking about their backstories and their emotions and everything. And I would be like, I have the perfect reference for these characters, and I have the perfect music. Let me send you like this playlist or that. So we kept like sending back and forth until they started shooting, and I even like had like Rachel Portman music and like just like music from everywhere as a reference for it. But ironically, when Mohamed and I were in Tunisia together in the same room, everything has changed. So we changed the whole concept of the music, and maybe Sahbi could agree too. We changed everything about the music. So we decided, because as Bashayer mentioned, that there's so much dialogue and it's very valuable conversation, and also like the women have such a powerful voice, and I didn't want to like overpower it with the music. So we relied majorly on sounds, and this is where I had like musicians from all around the world just like on really weird instruments and creating sounds, and then we had like music for the intro and music for the outro, and it just all came together. So we started from the script, and it developed really drastically from the very beginning until the end.
Great. Let's get back to Abdulrahman. Since everything started from you and from your place, let me ask you about how long did it take to make the film, from the first draft that you wrote until finishing the post-production and finishing the whole film? And if also it will be great if you give us an idea about how all the partners got attached to the project, and how it was easy. Was it easy or was it difficult to get all the teamwork, especially they are from different places? So was it hard? Was it good? Was it smooth? Was it difficult? How was the journey of the film?
Sure. I would like to just quickly mention about the music that of course, it was a great adventure, and Ghiya did such a great job. And actually, the score was nominated and won some awards in film festivals, just as the film score by itself, which is a really great achievement. I met Ghiya. Sahbi introduced me to Ghiya. And another filmmaker friend I worked with co-produced a film in 2018, who introduced me to Sahbi, because Sahbi was doing the post-production for those films. And then we started talking together, and we really liked developing the ideas together. And then we worked with Sahbi officially. This was my first own film with Sahbi, but we co-produced together on another film. So everyone kind of introduced everyone to everyone. Bashayer, of course, we met in Jeddah in 2016, and we developed a few different things together before we did this film, and during and after also. Because to answer your question, the life of the film, as I mentioned, the first draft was in 2014, and the writing, just purely as a screenplay, took us 4 years of kind of developing the different drafts. And well, of course, we did other films and we freelance as filmmakers, so it was not independent films in development. It's never a full-time job. You have to do so many different things. But when Mohamed joined, that was the point when we started developing it as a project, and we started to raise financing and all of that. And we almost got financing for the film in 2017, and we almost shot the film. We started pre-production, but then halfway through pre-production, the financing fell through and didn't happen. So we had to postpone the film, which was really great because we wrote, I think, 6 more drafts, which took the film to a really new place. I'm really glad we didn't shoot it the first time.
And we got to go to Rawi as well.
Yes, and we went to Rawi Screenwriting Lab. I applied in 17. We didn't get in. I think the script wasn't ready. In 2019, applied again. We got in again. And then we first got into the Rawi Screenwriting Lab, which was a really great experience. And that got us into Film Independent to develop the film with Film Independent in Los Angeles. And that also gave us a huge push. And then finally, because of all of this kind of momentum, the Red Sea Film Festival also, we were finalists for a production grant, which kind of pushed us through the final step of actually going and shooting the film. And so we shot the film in 2019, and we did immediately started pre-production, and it was supposed to premiere at the Red Sea Film Festival in March, but then the festival was postponed. So everything was postponed. So there is a year in the life of the film where we are just waiting for festivals and stuff. Now this is our first festival. We're really excited, but this has been a journey of almost 6 years for this film. During this film, I made a few other films for this while I was making this film. So passion projects usually take time, and it really shows on the script. Everyone who works on the film is there for a very specific reason, and picked because of their real enthusiasm about the film, without having to consider the money aspect of it or what it will do to their career. Everyone who worked on it, just because they love the story and they love the project and everyone else working on it. Of course, the cast, we casted the film for 2 years, and then the cast stayed with us even though the film was canceled, and they all came back when we shot it the second time. So the cast is a fantastic ensemble of cast. They did a great job, and their support actually helped us get the financing and do the realization of the film. So it has been a long journey, but I'm very grateful because it helped me meet so many different really passionate people, and people who I continue to work with after we've done the film too.
Okay, it seems that was a quiet journey you had with the film. So let's get to Bashayer, and let me ask you about those development labs and workshops that you participated in with the project. What did exactly those workshops and those development platforms added to the script and added to you and the writers, you and Abdulrahman as a writers? How did all the development helped actually the project and helped the writing process?
So a lot of things helped us developing the script, because as Abdulrahman mentioned, we had a lot of time to work on not just the workshops that we got into, but also our community, filmmaking community helped us, was always reading our scripts and giving us feedback. So a lot of things changed actually from the scripts, from these feedback. I remember I got to a point, my perspective was, I was so involved in the script that I didn't see any differences between what's the changes. So I got to a point I'm just gonna filter the new ideas that we have, because we were having so much feedback from the workshops and from our community and from our crew when we started going to production. So I was just like, I'm gonna filter the ideas and see what works with us and what doesn't work with us as a script. And actually a lot of, I can point out like 3 big scenes in our film where it wasn't even my idea or Abdulrahman's idea. It was an idea from someone in the workshop. They read the script and they were like, oh, why don't you do that or that? And it worked for us and we kept it. So the workshops and our filmmaking community was a great help making the script as well.
Also, just to add to that, workshopping the script at Rawi made a huge difference. Bashayer mentioned we started with 8 main characters, and then during the workshop, multiple people suggested this is too many characters, focus on a fewer character, and we cut out a few, and then we tested, and it ended up with 5 main siblings in the film. Also, mentors from the workshop really helped. Naji Abu Nawar, director of many mentors we met there. They really kept in touch and read further script and gave us feedback. And
Nadia Alwat was our script doctor, and she was, we met her in Rawi, and she was she came along the journey with us.
Yes.
But also on the other hand, if I may add, some stuff we knew that it worked for our film, and people were saying that maybe it's not going to work, so we had to fight for it. No, this is what we want, this is what we like in our film, and we want it. For example, they were suggesting to leave the house a little bit more often, but this is something we had to keep, because we wanted the character to be stranded in one place. Yeah.
Are you on mute?
Okay, let's get back to Sahbi again, and let me ask you about casting the film. Of course, Abdulrahman said that you were with him from the beginning. So I guess you were in the stage of casting and choosing the characters and choosing the actor and the actresses, which all of them actually did a very great job. So let's if you can give us or talk to us a little bit more about the casting and how did you choose the actor and the actresses for each role in the film, and did it happen like you choose the actor first for some role and then you change it to another role, or it was like so obvious from the beginning, I will get this actor for this role and these actresses for this role?
Thank you so much for this question. I think it's it's better Abdulrahman answer this question. I think you will have more details about this step. Thank you.
Of course. Actually, it's better if Mohamed answers this question. So, Newton, because actually it was the cast was Mohamed's achievement, and that was one of the main things when he joined the film. We would do workshops and we workshop the script together, and then me and Bashayer would go and discuss it more, and then Bashayer would go and write. I would go and work on the financing and raising the funds, and Mohamed would work on the casting. And so Mohamed handpicked each one of these characters. Of course, I was there for him as a team to kind of discuss and challenge him, like why this actor, why not this actor. But we, either me or him, we had worked with all these actors before, and we know them personally, and we didn't do auditions or anything for these roles. We talked to them, we pitched the story, and we discussed it with them. One of the cast did not like the role we suggested, and it took some of discussions, and kind of he wanted to develop the character more. And so it was really at some point towards the end of writing the script, also geared towards the cast that was going to play them, because it was written for them also, especially with these 2 additional years we had after canceling the first time. We focused on the characters and we developed it with them. And the last few months before the shoot, we did, Mohamed did very extensive character development sessions where they would just really dig deep into the psychology of the characters, the background, because you are making a film about brothers and sisters, which is really tough. These people should look like they lived together for 20 years. And that's not easy, that kind of chemistry. And I think Mohamed did a really fantastic job getting them there emotionally. And it was actually a very tough film to direct. I was with him on set every day, and it was very challenging and draining, because you don't just have 1 or 2 main characters. All the major scenes had 5, and all of them are big actors, and their roles are very heavy. And so it was very tough. So casting this film, actually, we shot the film in the background of the family is they are from Riyadh, because we casted the film in all over Saudi, and we could not assemble a family except in Riyadh. So we decided to make the story in Riyadh, so that we can sell the film or the story that this is a real family. And so we went and shot it there because of that. So the casting was really challenging, but also fun. We also had this character who is a maid, an Indonesian maid, which is really tough. There is no film proper acting industry or schools, or we can barely find great Saudi actors. There is a few, but let alone finding an Indonesian woman, middle-aged woman. So this was the casting agency that we work with, and the casting director did a fantastic job finding this actor who was actually an Indonesian maid who works in Saudi, but she also loves acting, and so she does that on the side. So she really played the part. So the casting, the kids was also a very tough. Kids are always tough to find the right kids, and we had some really precarious young actors. They were fantastic, and they had already big egos, and they were divas, and they were just made to be actors. So it was really fantastic working with them also. But Mohamed, this was from the beginning of Mohamed's joining. This was his biggest kind of role, is his achievement with the cast of the film. Yeah.
My next question will be for Bashayer. When I was watching the film, I had the feeling that there is a woman behind those women, because I felt like, especially the character of Maha, she was so powerful, and she has like her opinion, and she didn't afraid from, or she doesn't afraid anything. she doesn't feel afraid from her brothers or from anyone else. She has her opinion, and she's so determined to express herself and express her opinion. So I felt like there is a woman behind this woman. I felt like this is like an female input. So if you can correct me if I'm wrong or it's right, that somehow that was your input for the film, or it was like discussion, or it was like between you and Abdulrahman and also Mohamed regarding this side of the film.
What we try to work on, honestly, is making the character as honest as possible. So Maha is not someone who she truly believes in these opinions. So she's not just saying these stuff because we wanted a feminist opinion in the film. This is truly her opinion. She truly believes that that they should tell the mother because she has the right to know, basically. It was, of course, a little bit hard to keep her honest because we actually wrote her a lot more aggressive, and then we had to cut down some scenes because I don't know how to say that in English. She turned out to be mustafizza. So we had to tone her down a little bit, but yeah, we worked on it. It wasn't just. We actually had a nice discussion when writing Maha specifically. I had a discussion with Mohamed. He was telling me, "Would you actually? What's your opinion in the dialogue? If you were one of the siblings, would you tell the mother or not?" And honestly, my opinion was yes, I would tell her because I agree with Maha. She should have the right to know. And we had a small fight with Mohamed because his opinion was with Nasser, because he would say, no, stay out of it. It's not our business. So we made a small reenactment, Mohamed and I, for Maha and Nasser, basically. But I hope it turned out to be a true, honest character, because it wasn't just because she's a feminist or otherwise. It was because we wanted to be honest to this character who believes in this opinion.
Other thing that I felt through watching the film, I felt like the sense of the social criticism. So I thought, I just want to know, was a thing in your mind during you were writing the film, or you were totally focused on the story and the characters, and by a way or another it came up on the papers or on the draft or on the set afterwards?
I missed the beginning of the question, the social what?
I said when I was watching the film, I felt like there is a sense of social criticism by somehow. So I just wanted to know, is that was one of your intentions while you were working on the project from the beginning, or it just came up with the developing of the project and developing the characters, developing the incidents, developing the flow of the project? If you can say something about this, and also Abdulrahman.
Okay, so I'm gonna start and then maybe Abdulrahman can continue. It might look like we're criticizing someone or the society, but it's just a true experience where our main goal, the thing that was directing us, is this honest to the character? Is this something that they would say, or something that would be a part of their life? This was our main goal, to be honest to the characters. So even though if it turned out to be criticizing the situation, I think it was more like a mirror for the situation, not criticizing it. Because this is, as Abdulrahman mentioned in the beginning, this is a very common situation where families have to have these discussions over and over again. And yeah, we try to be as honest as possible. Madri Abdulrahman, if you want to add something.
And I agree. Our goal was to really tell the story of this family specifically. In the beginning, we had a lot of characters, and they represented different sides. And while we approached this film as if it's one of our inspiration is 12 Angry Men, and we thought, what if this is a trial, and this is opposing forces or opposing team, and everyone is fighting for their cause. So this was an initial push and structure, but then eventually we wanted to not assume an overall or holistic look at society, that this Maha represents this segment, Nasser represents this segment, so on and so forth, because that would have been, as Bashayer said, maybe disingenuous to the individual characters. So we, at some point, we let go of society and how society thinks, and just these 5 people, how do these 5 people feel? And by nature, these 5 people, they are similar to many people outside of their houses. They are a product of their society, and so they mirror a lot of the sentiments in their society. So the fight or the challenge was to have everyone have their opinion. And there is so many different possibilities for a film like this to either be trying to push an agenda or trying to make it girls versus boys, or men versus women, or a criticism of the culture, and all of that was kind of uninteresting to us. What was really interesting is people really just fighting. We wanted to see 5 siblings be very nice together, and then kind of look at their relationship as it disintegrates, and then they come back together again somehow. And so that's what was really interesting. It's kind of a philosophical look at one specific family unit, and then another family next door could be completely different ideology and politics and all of this. But really getting down to it, like Bashayer said, we kept trying to, even the girls in the family versus the boys in the family, we didn't really think too much about gender as much as where everyone was in life. Some of them were in bad relationships, some of them were at the beginning of their life, and they had one of the younger siblings just wants money from his father, so he's gonna pick his father's side. When he realizes his father doesn't have money anymore, he's with his mother all of a sudden. So this exploring motives, human motives, why someone makes a decision. There's a fantastic film called Taking Sides. Just 2 men, 2 army officers just fighting about an issue, and you really see a human being broken down into his most basic core beliefs. And this is what's very interesting in a film like this. Also, in our discussions with Mohamed, we like a lot of the similar kind of films, like Asghar Farhadi's film about Ili, for example, specifically. Films like that represent reality, or looks like you're just looking through someone's peephole and you're watching a family, you're observing a family. It's not supposed to tell you anything, you're just supposed to observe what the situation in this one family is. So in a way, it's a very specific story. In a different town in Saudi or in a different neighborhood, the same discussion could look so different, or at least we hope.
Yeah.
Before my next question, we had a question from Bentley Brown. She congratulates you on the film, and she liked the film, and she asked could you talk a bit about the change of the title from 8 Other People to 40 Years and One Night? I guess she knows the film or the project from a place, someplace.
Yes, thank you, Miss Bentley. We appreciate you being here. It's a he, by the way. It's not a she. Bentley is a colleague of ours, very close friend and colleague of ours, whom we love very much and miss also. Bashayer, would you like to talk about the title?
So this was one of the very interesting journeys in the film, is what do we call the film? And we wanted to maintain the independent feeling to the film. So our first original title was two men, two women, one man, and 8 other people. And I remember talking to Naji in the Rawi workshop, and he stopped me halfway through and he said, "I'm already bored." Okay.
Wow.
Thank you. So yeah, actually, how we ended up naming the film 40 years and one night is we gathered Abdulrahman and Mohamed and me, and we're like, what's the best thing that represent this family? And we were talking about how they probably lived together for 40 years, and this one night where it's the biggest change. It's gonna completely switch their life. It's gonna be a turning point in their life. So 40 years for the marriage, how long the parents have been married, and then this one night where it's gonna completely change. But I think one man, two women, and 8 other people was a much more interesting title. I stand
agree.
by our title.
I agree. We actually, we discussed it so many times, and we did polls, and we asked the crew, we asked everyone. I went to the US for a lab on the film, and I pitched it, and I asked executives, and every time everyone was split. People like this title because it sounds more independent, more simple, and other people liked the concept that Bashayer talked about. So at the end, we said we have to pick a title, because we're not in a rota. We can't have 2 titles to a film like in Birdman. So we just said it's 40.
Next film, inshallah.
Can I say something? I'm very happy that you chose the 40 years one, because it just gives away the story. Like, I would just right away know that there are 2 women from the beginning. So I'm glad that you picked the next one.
We just have like 3 or 4 minutes left in our discussion. So my last question will be about the ending of the film. I felt like you intentionally want to leave it like an open ending, and because I didn't know if they were really gonna talk to their mother and tell their mother. I felt like they are still negotiating the thing by their sides to each other, and none of them. That was my feeling. None of them like took the decision or the final decision to tell the mother. And in the same time, I feel the mother is feeling something weird under the table. There is something not going properly with this family gathering. So if you like very briefly talk to us a little bit more about the ending of the film.
Spoiler alert, we should say. And then go ahead.
So the ending was one of the things that we discussed endlessly, because any small gesture from one of the actors would give it away. So, and we had it change so many times. So I very much like to keep it open, where I don't even discuss what our discussions was, because I love the sense of this is our first time screening the film, and I would really love hearing what people thought and where are the characters in the story. So this is our first feedback, and I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah, I think the ending is another thing, like with the title, where we discussed a lot. And like Bashayer said, writers and directors, colleagues of ours here in the community read the script and gave us feedback. One of them hated the ending. A lot of them, or a few of them, really loved it. And when we shot the film, we shot the ending was the very last scene we shot on the last day. and then we wrapped for a reason, because even when we were shooting, me and Mohamed were not sure about the ending still. And it's one of these endings that it can really go. There's no right way of doing it or wrong way of doing it. It's just gonna make for a completely different film if you end it a different way, because you leave with a different taste kind of in your mouth after eating something, and it affects your experience of the aftertaste. So there was many different cases and directions to go, but the one we went with was the risky one. There was a much safer ending to go, but we picked this one because it just also felt like, okay, we have a chance to kind of experiment with our film and see, because we want to push the envelope of screenwriting and storytelling and see how this affects the audience. Maybe they completely hated it or hated some people, but that would be interesting for us to also hear.
Okay, we are running out of time. Actually, that was we are over time with 1 minute, so I have to end it here. Thank you so much for the discussion. Thank you, Abdulrahman, and thank you, Bashayer, Sahbi, and Ghiya. It was so nice talking to you about your film. Wish you all the best in your next work, and the best of luck with the other or the next screening of this one. Thank you, and best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Rasha, so much for your time.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.